Hello everyone and thank you for tuning in. I'm Tully and today I'm here to review Spectrum, the game. Now, as per requested by the lead developer, Mido Basim, or Mido Basim, I don't know how to pronounce the name, I'm sorry. If you notice my voice is a bit weird, that's because it's currently 7:44 in the morning. I have a cold, I haven't slept all night, and I'm just trying to finish this. Didn't sleep all night, that's actually by choice because I have a lot of shit to do today. Anyway, as per requested by the lead developer, I already screwed it up in the original 1 hour footage, so I'm not going to screw up everything else. I'm not meant to spoiler the story, so I won't do it even more than already has been spoiled. So I'm going to essentially stick to the actual review now. Now, there's going to be two parts to this review. There's the bad part, and there's the good part. And as always, let's begin with the bad part. The bad part is this game feels at times frustrating. Through comment on YouTube and through actual personal email, the developer, Mido or whatever, has told me that a lot of my concerns were in fact bugs to the game that he planned to patch, and I'll get to that later. Bugs such as the main mechanic of the game, which was you switch colors to match with different platforms, basically, wouldn't work, or you would just fall through the things, or it wouldn't register, or it wouldn't do any other thing, and you'd essentially be left not knowing what the hell happened. Was that a bug? Was that supposed to be like that? I don't know. Apparently it is a bug, and it ties into another concern I have about the game, which is collision mechanics sometimes work perfectly and as intended, however, and other times just don't. They just don't. That's the thing. And that's what really bothers me, because I know it's a bug, and I know it's an indie release, but it's on sale for €5. I mean, in the game website. It's currently on Greenlight for Steam, and it has my full support. I already voted for it on Greenlight, but it has to be fixed. That's the point. And I'll talk about that later when I come to the good points. Secondly is the art style. The art style, it's dissonant. Because I know that there's three people I need to thank here. It's lead developer is Mido Basim. 2D artist is Joshua Sacco, or Sacco, whatever. I'm assuming that he also did he or she, I don't know. Also, Joshua, it's a he. Also did I don't know, maybe the art for the game. And then music producer, oh god, Srikanth Sridharan. I'm so sorry if that is not correct. Really sorry. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's an Australian/New Zealander team. It's a language I do not speak. I'm very sorry. I know it's English, but it's a special type of English. Whatever. The art style seems dissonant. The background and the foreground seem dissonant. The background I do have a problem with. I understand the comic book feel they want to go for it, and I feel they did it. But the problem is, I play it windowed because for some reason my laptop does not like it going on full screen. It just doesn't work. And I don't know why, honestly. It just doesn't. Pardon me, because I do actually have a cold. So I've been playing it on windowed mode, and I think I don't know if it's fixed on full screen, but eventually what would end up, it would have like either this massive black bar with nothing on the top, or just two tiny black bars on top and bottom, and it wouldn't be a resolution problem. It would just be the art style. And I understand that you're trying to go for a comic book, and the actual goddamn artwork does look like a comic book, but the fact that you have this really empty black space just bugs me. That's an honest personal opinion here. As for the foreground art, it stands distant because I really like the background art, and yet the foreground, which is to say your character and the platforms and everything that's in the game, just seems so dissonant. It just doesn't match. You have these beautiful backgrounds, and you have these minimalistic, simplistic platforms that just repeat themselves, copy-pasted across the entire goddamn level. Of course, changing models, of course, the levels. I did have to say that. Depending on the full background, it does actually match the background, I might add. Sometimes it actually just change. The platforms do change models according to the background. They do change it according to that in a level. But in those particular sections, just to copy paste it, it's the same model, copy paste it over and over and over and over again. And the problem I have is the way that it's drawn, the way that it's presented makes it really hard to know where you're going to land. And as a platformer, that bugs me to no end because I'm looking at the platform and I know that it's not a bug. I'm just landing on the wrong place because the way the platform is made just doesn't feel like the hitbox. Because sometimes, like, I would land on what would be the middle of the platform. Other times it would be like the bottom of the platform. Other times it would be the top of the platform. The hitbox is not evident. It's not a 2D game per se. It's a 2.5D sort of thing, and it really messes up with your perception. Pardon me. It really messes up. And not to mention that essentially the game levels just look barren and empty. It's just, I understand it's like a game with like Super Mario, for instance. It had nothing but the sky and the ground, but it didn't look empty because it was covered. Like, it was massive ground. When it comes to this, it's just empty. It's just massive air, nothing, and then just scattered platform. That's a personal preference, by the way. I don't like empty stuff. I like having my senses overfilled with shit. Not literally, of course. This is going to be the worst review ever. Anyway, as I was going on, well, what else I want to say? That was the art. As for the AI, I understand that the AI is only there to be an obstacle, basically. So there's no really AI to speak of rather than go forward, turn around, go forward, turn around, go forward, turn around. AI variety, though, I understand it's a short game. I completed another, 1 hour 30? 1 hour 30, I think. Tops. Maybe 1 hour 45. Completed that in that time. And in that time, I found one type of enemy, which is the skeleton archer, which looked cute as hell, might I add. I like the design. Like a chibi little skeleton archer. I actually did like it. That was the point. Some enemy variety would be nice. The one difference was what I came to call the boss level. And again, the boss level, as I call it, would present itself as, again, dissonant art. You have this gorgeous background splash art of a castle on a cliff, and there's another cliff on a calf with thunder and clouds, and then the foreground is just this zoomed out, completely empty levels with half a dozen lasers and half a dozen platforms, which really were just easy to traverse. And the problem I had there was there were two bosses there, which were like knights in full armor, properly modeled. But the thing was, the way they were running, it made it feel like they were running on thin air. It was pretty much just them running on an invisible platform, just suddenly going after you. And the first knight that comes running after in the game, you have to immediately move, or else you will not be able to dodge him. But once you get to an arbitrary point, he just stops moving entirely, and you can take your sweet time going out to the next level, like below you. And below you there's another knight which does the exact same thing. I don't understand. It's just an advancing wall of doom that stops moving for some reason. Anyway, my voice, it hurts. Anyway, that's the point I wanted to make. The background looks empty, especially the boss level. Just seemed the artistic side of it, like the visuals in the background and the music, amazing. Yes. But the level in itself just seemed empty. Really empty. And for my biggest complaint about the game, and this does in fact go into the, options menu, right? Cross-platform and DRM free. Now, I do have to say this thing. I do not know. You just click the button here. I'm actually on the website. Just hold on for a second. Come on. See, Spectrum is DRM free and works on Windows and Linux. Supports using a controller such as an Xbox controller, and is recommended to be played using a controller. This is my biggest gripe with the game. Okay? First of all, I respect the developer's right and choice to make a game that's better optimized for a controller. It's their choice, basically. However, I do have to speak up when it interferes with people who don't have controllers or don't want to play with a controller. Because when the developer says it's meant to be played with a controller, he's not fucking kidding. Not in the slightest. Huh? Because if you want to play with keys, you're going to have a bad time with Spectrum. Huh? That's the main point I'm trying to make here. Is, first of all, I don't understand why, of course, you would make a platformer game for the PC, Windows and Linux obviously, but still, and have it focused on controller. I'm assuming, I don't know, maybe to invoke that old school arcadey / console feeling that the first ever platformer games have. And if it's an artistic choice or whatever, it's fine for me. But determination, Tully. you can massage your sore throat after this is done. But the thing I'm trying to say here is, when it starts interfering with the rest is when I have a problem, because this game does not have rebindable keys. So in order to change the colors, it's going to be S for gray, Q for blue, W for green, E for red, and R for yellow. Right. So in-game visually, the color wheel is a wheel with gray on the middle. And the other 4 colors making a wheel around it. But as you can see, Q, W, E, R, S, and then A, D to move, or arrow keys. After an hour 45, I still could not do it. I did not get accustomed to it. I don't know why. It felt like if the game was set default. Let's pick a random group of keys, right? Let's do this. See here. Let's do like A and D movement, right? And spacebar. So you can use A and D movement and spacebar with your left hand. And then when you go to keys, you go like this. K, U, O, M, and let's say the comma key. Not sort of a circle, right? And you can like memorize. I don't know. It feels like an odd choice to have a color circle represented by a straight line on the keyboard. Or at least that's my opinion, obviously, whatever. And at least rebindable keys are a must on anything, even if you're going for a platformer. I don't know, because you do have 5 commands just for colors, and they do need some twitch reflexes at occasions. So I don't know. I feel like the keys could have been better represented. It's all I'm saying. As for the controller choice, I respect your choice. I don't really have anything to say. It was your goddamn choice. I don't really have anything against it. That's the whole point of this entire rant. But next point was the game is downright frustrating and cruel at times. It really is. It's like it's trying to make you cry in desperation. Mostly because sometimes the collision mechanics and the color detection mechanics are finicky and oftentimes buggy. That, of course, will be addressed in a later patch. I hope. But that's the point, really, because one of the main points of the game is you can't change direction while in midair, which has been literally a staple of platformer games since God knows how when. And I understand from a real world kind of point of view, it makes sense for you not to be able to change frickin' direction in midair. But oftentimes, because the controls are finicky and because of the collision mechanics, it ends up being a lot more, well, how do I say this? A lot more of an inconvenient than as a feature. Of course, this is me talking from a keyboard perspective. I have absolutely no idea how this game would be played if it was on a controller. Whatever. So this is me from a keyboard perspective. It just felt like a nuisance most of the time. That's the bad. In addition to it, the storyline, I would say, seems kind of forced in. And to be very honest, the ending, I kind of just stood at it for like a full minute going, what? It was an ace-up? It was something that it just came completely out of the blue. And it had no build-up, or very little build-up to it. And I understand the message they're trying to pass. And if you play the game, you'll see what that message is. But it seemed to me like it was either forced or they really should have built up more. Because I could understand, right, where they came from. I understood the whole concept, the revelation at the end. I understood. I called it. The first thing I thought of when I played the game was, that's it. See what I did there, Mito? Or Mito? Not revealing the story? Yeah, professionalism right here. Face the professionalism, even though you can't see my face. Anyway. I don't know, the ending to the story and the ending message just get a wee bit weird, if you know what I mean. That's the bad. Now here's the good. And here is where I believe redeems the game. I love the concept. I really do. Despite its mechanical, technical, and sometimes graphical failures, I love the concept. I had fun playing the game. I want to continue playing the game. It's that kind of thing that you're playing it, right, and you want to keep playing it purely because you want to beat this son of a bitch. You want to finish the game, and you want to rub it in the game faces. You want to finish the game and say, look back and say, I spent almost 2 hours doing this, but it was worth it. Worth it because I frickin' finished the game. And I got that feeling. That sense of accomplishment that I got in every good platformer game. I believe that if properly ironed out, this would be an even better game. Because the concept is amazing. Match colors on matching. Concept is simple. Match colors with platform. But then, when you add stuff like lasers and precision mechanics and precision jumps, and you have these kind of weird levels where you just have to... Honestly, you have these completely arbitrary decisions at times, including the last chapter, which I had to email the guy, like Mito or Maida. I had to email him to understand. I have no idea how to do this. Please explain to me how to get through this level. And he explained to me. It looked completely arbitrary, but that's whatever. Bar that, I had fun playing the game. And when I said before, the background art is amazing. It's simplistic. It's not going to be like a masterpiece, but pardon me. It's not like a masterpiece, but it's good. I can look at it. I actually there was one time where, like in the actual boss battle, I got to a point where I left the first boss behind, and I just stopped and looked at the background because it was amazing. It looked good. I looked at it and I said, "This is a painting. I would actually like to have this hanging around the house. I would not mind. It would be amazing." That is. The background art for this game is amazing. And the fact that you're trying to do like a comic book, if you manage to address the black bars, it would even look more beautiful. That's all I'm saying, basically. As for the music, it's weird, but I like it. It's a weird combination of this techno, then there's classic, then there's like this weird mix down the middle. And it's weird. It's a weird combination, but I like it. I really do. I really do like this. I really do like this. So, final verdict. And this is where I get to introduce my new trademark. Tully Burnalot's color wheel for games. You can write this down. The color wheel for games has 5 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. Red is reserved for those games that make me want to vomit in disgust. That's Aliens, Colonial Marines, and Day One Gary's Incident bad. Red, orange are those games that you go, you know what? This is just wasted potential, or I just didn't like playing this. This is a waste of money, etc. There's a lot of games in there, not going to bother naming each and every one. Yellow, the one down the middle, is basically the kind of game that I want to say, you know what? This was worth it. If I paid money for it, it was worth the money. It's not exceptionally good. It's not exceptionally bad either. It's down the middle. It's average. I liked it, and I don't regret having it. That's where this game lands. It's square in the middle of the yellow. I'm not going to say it's completely revolutionary, because it isn't. I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece, because it isn't. Rarely anything is nowadays. But it's good. I liked it. It's not bad. It's actually pretty damn good at times. It's fun. I like playing it. And honestly, for the price tag that it is, some people might not want to buy it. You're in your free choice. Maybe once this thing gets onto Steam or gets to like an indie bundle or something like that, maybe you want to buy it. Because honestly, I would pay money for this. I got a review build, but I would pay money. I would if I had money, which unfortunately I don't. But I would pay money if I actually could. This game is worth it. So that was the review. Holy feck. Almost 20 minutes talking about this. Holy hell. So that was a review for Spectrum. Thank you for tuning in. My voice, it hurts. Thank you for tuning in. Please stay tuned into the next video, which I probably will not be making after pulling an all-nighter. And until then, goodbye and take.